Hey, morning. We're back for another property finance Q&A. Haven't got my normal cam with me, so I'm on the laptop cam this morning, and you can probably see that the quality's not quite as good as it normally is, and certainly not as good as when I'm home in my office. But we're here to do a property finance Q&A. So hey, if you've got any questions, just pop them in the chat. I was going to try and do it a Facebook Live in my group as well, Recycle Your Cash group, because Facebook's banned third-party broadcasting to groups back in April, which has been a bit of a pain, really. But I've still got to work out exactly how we do that. So try and get that sorted for next week. So property finance, what is it you want to know? I'll hang around here for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less, and I'll answer your questions. So I've got a few people coming in with their mornings. Morning, Mel, good to see you. Just, hey, what do you want to know? Because that's what we do on a Q&A. You say a question and I'll give you an answer. And we'll aim to do it live. Are you away? Yes, I am, Nick. I'm away, but I'll be back in a couple of days' time. So there we are. Good. So what do you want to know? Put your questions in there, and I'll give you some information about what's coming up while I'm waiting for some questions. Now, it's the 2nd of September, so new month. We're into autumn season now. There we are. I've been sort of not running events for the last few weeks because I don't run events in the summer. That doesn't mean I take weeks and weeks off, because I'm still supporting the people that I'm working with. Some of those jumped on in the spring in that intake, and others have been around longer. They're just in our community. So what's going to be going on in the next 4 weeks in September? Well, something's happening on the 14th of September. So let me give you some more information on that. I'm launching a service called Property Flicks. Now, I've been sort of giving you clues the last couple of weeks. Well, what is Property Flicks? Let me explain. So these Q&As I've been doing for nearly 5 years, and there's something about 200 hours worth of, and I've recorded them all. And I've managed to find a bit of AI software that allows a word search facility. So what I've been doing is loading all of these into this AI facility. And what does it mean? It actually means hours and hours, hundreds of hours of questions with answers at your fingertips. And I think that's pretty amazing, really. So, for example, if you were to want to find out, I don't know, commercial conversions or stamp duty, any questions on stamp duty. So, using the AI word search, you just type in stamp duty, and every time I've answered a question about stamp duty in the last 5 years, boom, up it comes, literally in seconds. Boom, 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 boom. And you can watch the whole clip. So you can watch the whole answer of every time. And I think that's pretty amazing, really. So I thought, I've got this treasure trove, this vault of Q&As going back nearly 5 years. How can I make it available so that you could actually get use from it? And AI, changing the world, isn't it? AI is a way to do it. So there we are. And I'm going to launch it. I'll give you some more details probably next week, actually, because it's going to launch on the 14th. So we're 12 days away. So yeah, I think that's going to be really, really interesting. So yeah, it's something you subscribe to, and if you're great. You just think, and anytime, day or night, you can just say, I wonder what Kevin's had to say about commercial conversions. Let's type commercial conversions into the word search facility, and then bang, 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 bang. There's all the stuff I've said over the last 5 years about commercial conversions. Yeah, there you go. So, Property Flicks, that's what it's called, Property Flicks. So that launches on the 14th of September, and we just get all the last details ready for it. So it's all ready to launch with website and all that type of thing. We'll have that done. Questions, guys. What do you want? Questions, because it's going to be a pretty short Q&A today. If there's no questions, so just let me know. So there we are. And I'm going to tell you about BRR Launchpad as well, because it's down there. Just to see it there. Where is it? There it is. I think there we are. BRR Launchpad, because that's coming up on the 28th, 29th of September. We've already got 50 plus people going, so it's going to be a great event. And so I'm going to tell you a bit more about that after I answer a question or two. So, hey, got a question? Pop it in the chat box. So Melanie's coming. Hello, Melanie. How you doing? If you have two cross-collateral bridgings, how is it allocated to the lenders, i.e. a charge on the home, as they cannot have both first charge? Yeah, that's right. So if you've got a property where you already own it and you want to use the equity in it to save you putting a cash deposit down, then you use a cross-collateral bridge. So they just take a first or a second charge on the property. Now, so your question is, if I've got two deals running, how does that work? So it works because you have to use the same bridging lender for both deals. So you can't use two different bridging lenders, one for the first deal and then come in with one for the second deal on a different bridging lender. You have to go back to the first bridging lender, the original bridging lender that's already got a charge over your previous property, say, hey, I've found another deal. Can we use some more of my equity? That's how you do it. Correct, because two bridges cannot have first charge. You can only one have first charge, and another bridger won't go second charge behind a bridger with first charge. They'll do it for a mortgage lender, but they won't do it for another bridging lender. So you're restricted to the same bridging lender, which is no big issue really. There we are. Good. Makes sense. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Really? Yeah, because they've already got a charge over it. So if you haven't sort of gone up to the maximum that you're allowed to go, which is usually 75% of the value, if you've only borrowed, I don't know, let's say 30% of the value, then you can go back to them and say, hey, can you now link it up with another property, because I've got a second deal I want to do, and I've got the capacity to run both simultaneously. So there we go. Good. No worries. So questions. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? So I've told you about my Property Flicks, which is launching in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to tell you about BRR Launchpad. So I only do this once a year. It's a 2-day event. And we've got another question coming in. So I'll hold that for a minute and deal with the question. It's Debbie. Hello, Debbie. How you doing? And hey, hope you're excited about launching your property chats this week. I'm going to tell anyone watching about property chats, and because you're the new host in Brighton, you, Christina, and G. So anyway, more about that in a minute. What is it called when you want to go to a surveyor that has already done a survey on a property, but it fell through, and you want to get your hands on it so that you don't have to pay for your own survey? I know you can offer to buy it, but not at the full price. Yeah. It's called a retype. It's a retype. So, and why is it called that? Because literally, they just change the first page of the report as to who they're sending it to. So they retype the name and address of who's the report's going to. It would have gone to whichever lender was previously involved, and it will go to the new lender. It will go to the new lender. So there we are. That's what it is. It's retype. And because they've only got to actually on their computer scrub out one name and address and put a different name and address, that's why you don't pay for a full survey. Now, the valuers that did the survey don't own the survey, because who owns the survey is who commissioned it in the first place, which was the previous lender. So you would need to get their approval for the retype to happen. Now, some are okay with that, some are a bit funny about it. But so you would have to contact whoever's name, whichever lender's name was on the original report, and then say, you're now not proceeding with this property. Would you mind if we had a retype on it? There you go. Good. So, great, there we are, retype, good, perfect. Sale fell through as the new purchaser passed away. Oh, that's sad. How sad. But yeah, okay, that's a fairly, genuine reason. I mean, I would think in that circumstance, whichever lender commissioned that survey, they'd be happy to do a retype. So they are. So, property chats, you're looking forward to it. Cheese on it, yeah, I guessed it would be. He's pretty, he is pretty on it, isn't he? He's a pretty on it sort of guy. So, property chats, first Thursday of the month. 3 new locations starting up this month: Derby, Coventry, and Debbie's one down in Brighton. So, if you haven't seen about property chats before, if you're watching this and you haven't, so whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, and hey, watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know you watched it. But property chats, it's redefining what midweek evening working meetings are about. And what it isn't is net sitting for nearly 2 hours in your seat getting talked at by a succession of people. There's no speakers. There's no announcements, there's no updates, there's no pitching to buy training from the front of the room. In fact, there's nothing other than rocking up and talking property to as few or as many people as you like for an evening. And we do it on the first Thursday. I'll put the link in the chat in a minute so you can come on. But hey, come along. We start on Thursday, I think that's the 5th of September, and we'll do one in October, one in November. And then we've got something a bit special planned for the December one. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about that as we move through the autumn. So there we are. But yeah, and even better, it's free. There's nothing to pay. You don't have to pay £20 or £30. You don't have to buy a meal, although some people choose to buy a meal, but you don't have to buy a meal. I know there's some events now where you can only get in the event if you buy a meal. You don't have to. It's courtesy if we're meeting free to buy a drink or two at the bar, and you might want to have a bit of food. I usually, when I am attending them, and I attend as many as I can, I tend to a bit early, probably closer to 6 o'clock rather than 7 o'clock, and grab some food. So if you're coming straight from work and you haven't had time to eat, get there in time. People start arriving from 6:30, and the meetings sort of rolls into being from about 7 onwards. But it's okay to come late. You know, you're not going to. It's not like a normal networking where, you know, everyone's sitting listening to a talk. You get there 15, 20, 30 minutes after it starts. You feel a bit awkward. There's none of that. It's just a few people mingling around, chatting about property. And you can chat to someone for 5 minutes, or you can chat to them for an hour if they're really interesting, which you're not going to be able to do at virtually any other property networking meeting that is a midweek evening. So people absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So there we are. Let's give you the general one. I see you put your specific one in there, but I want to open it out, Debbie, to everyone. So I want people anywhere in the country to go onto the website and look up where their nearest property chats, and there'll be more opening up as we get further into the autumn. There we are. So, hey, what are you doing this Thursday, the 5th of September? Come along to a property chats meeting. There you go. www.propertychats.com. Go and check out where your nearest meeting is. And if you can't find one that near to you yet, keep looking, because there'll be more opening up. So there we are, property chats. Good. A few more good mornings. There we are. There's Kat. Hey there. Good to see you. I'm not going to be able to make Bristol property chats this week, Mary, so sorry about that. But Yvette and a few others are. I think actually Kat might be going. I think Kat might be going to the Bristol one this week. There we are. So I don't know whether because you normally go to the Exeter one, don't you? Because it's closer to you. And Benjamin's running that and doing a really good job actually. So yeah. So I'm not going to can't get to Bristol this Thursday, but I'll get to all of them eventually. So what else have we got? Mel's come back with another one. Hi, Mel. If you decide you want to move house and you have the bridging against your home, do you need to pay the bridging back from the sale prior to purchasing a new property, or can it be transferred to the new property? Well, you'd have to technically pay it back in the same way that you would have to technically pay a mortgage back and then reattach a new mortgage with the same terms to your new property. Bridging would work the same way. You'd actually have to repay the loan, but then reattach it to your new property. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Drew. Yeah, long time no see, buddy. Long time no see. Well, I'm doing well, actually. Yeah, thank you. Yes, you booked a ticket. I saw that you booked a ticket for the Launchpad. I'm looking forward to see you there. When you move from bridging to a mortgage, would the mortgage provider look at job, income, credit history? Absolutely, they would. Yeah. They're gonna do a full underwrite of your situation. Now, of course, in terms of income for a buy-to-let mortgage, I'm assuming you talk buy-to-let mortgage, not a main residence mortgage, but for a buy-to-let mortgage, all they really want to see is you earn 25 grand a year, mostly. They won't want to look at your job, what job you do. They won't want to look at your credit history, certainly. But yeah, so there's no difference in a mortgage application process whether you're buying a property or refinancing a property, and it doesn't matter whether you bought it with cash and you're refinancing it, bought it with bridging and you're refinancing it. Either way, they're going to do a full underwrite on it. Yeah, good. You are? Yeah, I thought you were going. And hopefully you'll be taking Mike with you too. That'd be good. Yeah, so I don't know whether Mary's going, or whether she's going to make the trip up the M5 to Bristol, or whether she's going to stay in her local one, which she normally goes to, which is Exeter. So whichever way. Yeah, no worries, Drew. You're very welcome. So, what are we going to say? What are we going to say? Right, questions. We're rolling towards 9 o'clock, so if we don't get any more questions, I'm going to be off in a minute. So if you've got a question, hey, be quick. But I'll be back a week from today on the 9th of September. I mean, you said October then, blimey. It's not October, it's September, isn't it? And the 9th of September, and we'll do this all again, and I'll be back in my normal office then. So I'll have a better quality screen for sure. So BRR Launchpad, 28th, 29th September. It's at the Marriott Heathrow, and it's 2 days of drilling down into exactly what makes BRR work. And I've got 2 of my mentees, and they've been really successful at BRR. I've just got Jim's slides through, actually. I picked them up this morning. So Jim James, he's going to be telling us, he's going to show us his first project, and we're going to be talking through the numbers. We're going to break down exactly how he got it, exactly how he found it, negotiated on it, bridged the purchase, and then put it on a mortgage, and now it's taking rent-free income on it. And we're also going to look at his latest one, because he's done 5 now. So we're going to do that. And Harpreet is the other one. Now, Harpreet's even further advanced than that. He just does flips, so he just doesn't keep them. Paul refinance them and rent them out. Harpreet just does flips, but he's done about 20 so far in about, must be 3 years. So they're going to break down at least one, if not more, of the deals they've done. So all the people present, and we've got 50 already, 50 plus already. We're going to break it down, and they see exactly. And hey, look, it's what people want to see. Now, how did you do that? How exactly did you do it? And be able to ask them questions, because both Jim and Harpreet are going to take questions. We've got 3 other speakers as well on the 2 days. Lots of other stuff going on. And of course, as every event of mine does, parking's included, and so is a hot lunch. Hey, if you haven't been to the Marriott Heathrow, boy, you're missing out. It's one of the best corporate hot lunches I've seen. So, hey, I mean, you're not going to come just to get fed. You're going to come to learn stuff. No, there's a lot of stuff to learn. Property Field, Guillaume Black from Property Field, he's going to be doing a live demo. I think he might have something special planned for you. So you want to be there for that as well. BRR Launchpad. There's 2 levels, the standard ticket and the VIP ticket. Check out what you get with the VIP ticket, because I think that's tremendous value for money. There's about 6 extra benefits that you get when you go on the VIP one. And of course, on either ticket, if it's a pair of you coming, yourself and your life or business partner, the second ticket gets half price. So that's good. There we are, BRR Launchpad. You can see that just under my name there, brrlaunchpad.com. Really simple. There we are. Dave's coming through on Facebook. Hello, Dave. Finding myself homeless. Wow. My sympathies on that, buddy. So I would love to find a financial way back up. Got a new job, but currently struggling to get home. Yeah, well, renting's expensive now, isn't it? And do you know why it's expensive? It's because landlords, some landlords, are trying to sell up and get out because they've been made a scapegoat for society's ills. When all they're doing is providing, filling a gap that the government and the council doesn't want to fill. If government and councils built homes like they used to in the 60s and 70s and 80s, really, you'd have loads of places to rent, but they stopped. They don't do it anymore. So, people still people still need to live somewhere, and so the saying, nature abhors a vacuum. So the government and local authorities create a vacuum of places to live, and the private landlords have filled it. But the different legislation and taxes have made it, for some people, consider it wasn't as good as it was 10 years ago. I mean, if you weren't in it 10 years ago, you wouldn't know. So, but if you were in it 10 years ago or longer, you think, and so some of them are getting a bit disenchanted with it and they're selling. So I think there's been a significantly less properties to rent in the private rented sector in the last 5 years. So, and that's just simple supply and demand economics. If you've got less of something, the price of it's going to go up. That's how it is. The first step on your way back, Dave, is to get a new job, and you've done that. So amazing. So you already you've bottomed out, and you're already on the way back up. That's good to read. Probably you're going to need to rent a room somewhere rather than a place. So an HMO is probably going to be your best route back in. And it might have to be a bit of a down market HMO rather than somewhere you want to live. But look at it as a stepping stone, Dave. Look at it as a stepping stone. So as long as it keeps you dry and warm, and that's your first thing, I think. So jumping on that, get yourself there, and then that's another step up the ladder. And once you're there, and you get on your feet a bit more, you get some pay packets in your bank, you might get to a point where you can afford a bit better place. And it's going to be a gradual step-by-step process, I think. Find a room in an HMO, probably find a better room in an HMO, and maybe over time you'll get some pay rises, or even find a better job. It's always been the same. It's easier to find a different job when you've already got a job. It's harder when you haven't got a job at all. Don't know why, but it always seems to be that way. So, and you might get to a point where actually you can afford either a studio flat or one bed flat, and then you're really cooking on gas, as they used to say. There we are. So good. So it looks like we're about done for questions, and hey Dave, very best wishes to you. So looks like we're about done. I'm going to wrap up, unless someone sneaks in with a really late question, as sometimes happens. So I'll be back with a better camera in a week's time, on the 9th of September, and I'll be giving you even more detail about Property Flicks, which will be launching during next week. So hey, have a great week, and I'll see you in a week's time.